In this week's Journey to Greatness, we hear from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. When the Pro Football Hall of Fame Selection Committee met in early 2021 to discuss candidates for induction, the pitch for Peyton Manning only lasted 13 seconds, and the vote to select him as a Hall of Famer didn't take much longer than that. A 5-time MVP, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and a 14-time Pro Bowler, Peyton Manning's selection for the Hall of Fame was certainly inevitable, but that didn't make it any less special for him.
Putting that jacket on, and you truly are becoming a member of a new team. And I think that's the great thing about football. You played on so many different teams, and I don't know, that's what I loved about it, right? It wasn't an individual sport, it was a team sport. And so it's a special night, it's a special feeling.
While selecting Manning for the Hall was an easy decision, for Peyton, his choice to present him for induction was just as obvious. His father, Archie. A legend at Ole Miss and a longtime NFL QB, Archie Manning was always happy to mentor his sons Peyton, Eli, and Cooper. But he had one stipulation for them when they were children. They had to take the initiative to ask him for help before he would get involved.
He never was my coach by any means, but he certainly had the greatest impact on my football life than anybody. You know, growing up around the game, I was 8 years old when he retired. He'd bring Cooper and I to Saturday morning practices. We got to go down there on the football field at the Superdome after games. So definitely grew up around football. My dad was always making a point to include us. And look, I had no idea I was going to end up having the same career, but it definitely had a big impact. And then when I started getting serious about playing high school football, I had to ask him to come help us. But when I asked him, he was glad to do it. And he'd come over and kind of help organize workouts over at the high school with me and my wide receivers. And like I said, never was my coach, but always was my mentor. And so just a no-brainer as far as picking him to present me, and just couldn't have a more appropriate person to do that.
From Isidore Newman High School in New Orleans to the University of Tennessee to the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos, Peyton Manning set a lot of records and did a lot of winning during his long football career. He's now proud to represent all the places he's called home as he embraces the title of Hall of Famer.
I think the nice thing about going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is you go in and you take a lot of people with you. You take a lot of teams with you. You don't go in by yourself. And so, you know, for me, you know, taking Louisiana and Indiana and Tennessee and Colorado, all those people with me, that's important to me.
Thanks for visiting the Sports Stars of Tomorrow YouTube channel. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more content.